Despicable Me 4 is the 6th overall film in the Despicable Me / Minions franchise from Illumination. And now we can officially say that this is the most successful animated franchise in cinematic history, because after this past weekend, with the success of Despicable Me 4, the entire Despicable Me franchise has crossed $5 billion in total grosses at the box office. 5 billion gajillion for $1,000,000,000. It's a lot of money, y'all. A lot of money. It surpassed the likes of Shrek. I think Shrek had the crown. It's sitting at about 4 billion or so, but $5 billion, 6 films, and it's been in existence for about 14 years now. Incredibly successful, and they also just announced that Minions 3 is going to come, because why stop this train when it's making so much money? But you got a chance to go check this out. I have not seen this movie yet, and so with all of that out the way, I will pass it over to you. What did you think about this new Despicable Me installment, Despicable Me 4?
Yeah. So Despicable Me always has, I think, every movie, they're like, okay, how can we switch this thing up? What is the newness in this movie? The first one, Gru is just a villain who is falling in, he's forced to adopt little girls in order to move along his life, and ends up falling in love with his new daughters. And in the second one, he becomes a hero because of it. He's like, oh, I'm a hero now. What do I make of this? In the third one, he has a twin. I don't know what that's about. It's, to be honest, it's going to be three is probably the worst one. And then here we are, Despicable Me 4. And what is interesting is now the family of Gru and his now wife Lucy and the girls are being threatened. So they have to move to a new neighborhood, which sucks, right? The girls, they have been in school now, they have friends, and it's pretty much one of those stories of again, having to move, a family having to move to a new neighborhood. And it's a fine movie. It's cute, as almost all the Despicable Me movies. That's what one thing they're going to give you is cute. But I think they, in this film in particular, they took too much from too many other films, and kind of just mashed it up in this one. And the most important one, you know, I talked to Jordan to this one off the podcast a little bit, is The Incredibles. They do some incredible-ish things in this movie, where first and foremost, it's in the marketing, but they turn some of the minions into kind of superheroes, right? They kind of make them look like Fantastic Four. Is literally a minion that looks like the Thing. Like, they make him look Rocky and everything. They literally make him look like the Thing. And the new and Gru and Lucy now have a new baby. That's also part of the plot. And Gru is trying to figure out how to become a father. Of course, he's been a father to the girls, but they are adopted. This is the first baby he has had naturally that is actually his and somebody else's, that they're parenting together. And the baby doesn't like him too much, actually. And so it's also like him trying to figure out how to get his son to like him, how to protect his family from this new villain who is obsessed with cockroaches. It's like a cockroach villain guy, which is kind of crazy and a little off the hinges. But it's an okay watch. I didn't hate it. I liked it a little bit more than Despicable Me 3. But there are some things in here I think people can enjoy if you've watched the franchise up until this point. To me, there's no reason you wouldn't turn this one on as well. You know what I mean? It's like, well, might as well watch kind of a new story with these characters. And I think that's what it's kind of been now to this point. It almost feels like almost like you used to watch Kids Next Door back in the day. Here's a new episode of Kids Next Door. You don't know what's going to happen. This kind of feels like that. This is just like, oh, we know this family. What's their new adventure? And that's exactly what Despicable Me 4 is. What's this new adventure? What is the new family dynamic that's kind of happening here? And so, yeah, man, it's a fine movie. I don't hate it. I don't love it either. It just kind of fits, I think, in the middle of all these Despicable Me movies. There's so many now. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, here's another one. But not a bad movie, just not enough, I think, imagination to take this franchise, I think, in terms of quality, to the next level. But clearly, they're still making money, and for them, that's all that matters.
Well, speaking of money, I mean, this is already approaching $500 million at the global box office in just 2 weekends. This is on top of Inside Out 2, now grossing well over $1.3 billion. It's become the highest grossing Pixar movie of all time. It's en route to becoming the highest grossing traditionally animated movie of all time. It won't surpass the 2019 Lion King movie, which they sold as a live action, but it's really animated. But this might be Inside Out 2. It might be the highest grossing animated feature film of all time. On top of Longlegs, which we just talked about, incredible successful horror movie. A Quiet Place is also doing really well, just surpassed $200 million at the global box office. I know we had a conversation a few weeks ago about the doom and gloom of the box office after the releases of things like If and Furiosa. Felt pretty bad, but I don't know. It seems like things are all right now, kind of. It seems like everything is like back on track. The overall box office is still down, I think, compared to last year, about 17%, but that's certainly much less than the 49% that it was down earlier this summer, because that was a very, very wide gap. But Deadpool and Wolverine is on the way. It just seems like things are, I guess, pretty much okay for the most part. But Despicable Me, this is about what I expected from this movie. I'm going to get to it eventually with all of these movies, but it's one of those things that they know the audience, and they know the audience will show up and be here for it, and they're going to continue to make these movies, smartly so, because why stop something that is so successful that a lot of people, I think, do enjoy at this particular point. So definitely will intend to check it out. But folks, those are all of our thoughts on the brand new Despicable Me 4. If you've seen this movie, hit us up and let us know what you think.